Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to start looking at making a couple of stretches to go between the two inner frames. So they're going to go, just grab that. You can see I'm tilting it over now. There's going to be two stretches going across here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to cut the material, and then we're going to put it in the milling machine and mill the ends so that they're the right length, and then we can look at installing them. We'll do drilling and marking or whatever. Alright, let's get on with it. Oh, there we go. Now, nice job. What we'll do is we'll make another one. There you go. Alright, I've come over to the milling machine where I've decided I'm going to do this stretcher that we've just cut on the power hacksaw. We're going to mill the ends nice and square. It's an ideal job for the milling machine, and we haven't used it for a while, so I thought we'd give it an opportunity to do something. It's not a very long component, so you've got to be careful in the milling machine when you're putting in short components. If you're gripping them on the end, what will happen is the jaw will just cock over, so you won't grip it properly. But I think this will be just about long enough. It goes over the centre, so it should be okay. Give it a look. Right, let's just I'll just come round the back of you if I can. I need to operate the handle. We'll wind that out. I'm having some problems at the moment with my arm, my right arm. Got severe pains in it at times. Very good. But anyway, enough of whinging. There you go, it's down. This is a really good bicycle here. Made by a company called Ajax Machine Tool Company Limited, Bredbury near Stockport, England. It grips really well, this vice does. I quite like it. There we go. Make sure it's down. There you go. The reason why I set up here is because I'll bring the milling cutter and touch on here, and the cutter will be going around like that, and the swarf will go into the tray here, so it's going away from me. If you do it on the other side here, you're cutting that way, so it's going all over you. I don't like the idea of that. Right, what do I need now? I need some collets, I need a cutter. Alright, I've got this in the vicinity now, the cutter, and I'm using the flutes towards the top of the flutes to try and get some even wear and tear on the cutter. You find with your milling cutters most of the wear and tears at the bottom bit, usually on the corners, the bottom. So when you're doing jobs like this, if you go a bit further up, you'll find your teeth here are quite sharp, so it'll do a good job for you. Right, I've got my earmuffs. Switch the plane yet. Into the plane today. There we go. We don't need that today, but the digital reader, I'll put it to one anyway. Force of habit. Alright, let's have a look. Right. So that's required there. So 3.8125, let's bring it up so we can see what we're doing. So 3.8125. It's about 830. 17 and a half come off, haven't we? Hopefully we'll touch off, take 10 off, and then we'll remeasure it. Right, we'll do that. 3.8125. 3.81. Point 81. That's about 2.5 over, that is. Take that. 8.125. In fact, in case any of you are interested, our diesel heater's been running for 2 hours now, just over 2 hours, and when we first came in this morning it was 1 degree. It was 1 degree Celsius, so it's nearly 11 degrees now, nearly 11 in here. So it's still not hot, but it's a lot warmer than what it was. .8 1 2 1 3. And that's good enough. Right. Take this one out and I'll get the other one in. And do that one as well. That lock obviously works on the x-axis. That was quite okay, that was. It's not by finish either. I don't know if you can see that okay or not. Alright, well I've just done the milling on these two stretchers. What I found was the battery went flat on the camera there, so I've had to go in and change the battery. I just filled the cup up with tea as well, but also as well I missed some of the milling on the last face on this stretcher. Not to worry, you've seen that kind of thing before, so I'm sure you know what's what. Alright, I'll bring you down here and you can see where these stretchers are going to go. Alright, you can see here, these are the two that we've just cut and we've just milled. What we'll do is we'll mark on the frame, drill through, and we'll drill and tap in each end of these, and we'll put some 4mm bolts in. So that should be quite strong there, and that'll hold the inner frames exactly the same, the right distance apart. You can see here as well, these are going to be for the brake hangers, and these fit just in between the inner and outer frames. Well, this one here I've cut to the correct length according to the drawing, but when I looked at it in a bit more detail, I found that they should sit below the surface here, and I didn't think that was such a good idea. So I'm toying with the idea of perhaps extending them, making them longer, just so that they sit flush with the top of the frames, which would make more sense. But anyway, I'll think about that and see what I want to do with it. But that's where these stretchers are going to go. So that'll be quite strong, that will. Gives us something to fasten the tank. We can fasten the tank base to the end stretchers, and we've got something here as well. We might put something else on as well, I don't know yet. But anyway, there we are, making some progress. Alright, you've just seen some footage manufacturing the 2 stretchers on the milling machine. What we're going to do now is have a look at the brake hanger stretchers. I'm going to make a slight modification from the drawing, in fact, a significant modification. But I'm going to show you what's what. I'll take you over to the bench and we'll have a look. Alright, I'm just having a look where things are going to fit on the frame. These are the 2 stretchers that were just machined on the milling machine. And this is a piece of the bar that I cut off to the length indicated on the original drawing, which was 1 7/16 inches. But what that means is that if the pin for the hanger is in the correct position, that should sit about 1/8 of an inch down from the top. I don't know if you can see that. Let me bring you in a bit closer, see if we can see what's what. You can see there's a little gap there. But what I want to do, let me just move that to its correct position there. You can see it's there. What I want to do is pass a bolt all the way through that and screw it into that. So I'll tap into this stretcher here, only on the top one. That allows me to put 1, 2, so I'll have 3 bolts on one side. And I'll put bolts through here, holding that stretcher in place. But if I have it low down like this in the frame, it means I can't pass a bolt all the way through. So I need that to be flush at the top to give me sufficient material to allow the bolt to pass through. Screw into there so it'll go in. So that would go in through there, all the way through. And into the stretcher. Only that top one there. And then what we can have is just ordinary X-Net set screws in there. But what it means is that I've cut that now too short. Okay, that's too short, that is now. It needs to be 1/8 of an inch longer. So I don't have enough material in this piece of bar. So what I need to do is to cut a piece off. And I think what we'll do is we'll shape it down to the correct width. We'll do it obviously on the shaping machine. And then we'll have a look at installing. It's nearly through. Right, this is the piece of material we've just cut off, and what we're going to do, we're going to cut that face off so that it's inch and 3/32s, 1.093 inches, and it's the same as the piece we planed down. Right, where are we at? Let's bring it over here. Just show you me setting it up. I won't go into any detail because you've seen it before. I don't want you to fall asleep. We're going to put it in there. We need a little packing piece. Piece of 1/4 inch tool steel is pretty good for packing pieces. Fine. You don't want it sticking up too much, else we're not going to have much in the vise, and that wouldn't be very good. I don't want it to come out. Down tight. Alright, can you see there? We haven't got enough clearance there, look. We've can't drop the table anymore. I don't want to lift this up anymore. He's starting screwing it from the nut on the tool slide there. So that wouldn't be very good. So we've got to do something else. And this is one of them interesting problems that you come across on small shapers. So what we can do is we can change that tool out. We can put, if we put a conventional lathe tool in, it's going to be much higher up, see? Can you see that? So let's take this one out and we'll put this one in. And we've got one of them situations where we've got quite a bit sticking out the vise in relation to the amount which is clamped in the vise. So we just have to be a little bit careful. Now what we're going to do is we're going to raise this up. And we're in the vicinity there. Tighten everything up. You'll have a lot more travel on big shapers. It's only a small one, so you can't do big parts on it. Alright, that's clamped in place. Okay. Well, let me put you back where you were. Oh, that's a crap way now. Just shut it down a minute. And I'll put a cut on. Lock it, and let's see how it goes. Cutting it makes a big difference. This is the third cut. Another 50,000. Just go around the other side. Stick some oil on that. After I've done this cut, I'll take it out, I'm going to clean that burr off, and then we're going to turn it round, put it back in, and we'll finish it to size then. Alright, I've just finished machining that face, deburred it, I'm going to turn it round in the vise, just going to give this a quick wipe off, make sure that looks swarf in there. Just clean that. Put it in there. So that fact, let's just check to see how much we've got to take off. Not quite sure what we've got to take off here. Now that is... what's that? Where's it? 1.4... 1.420. 1.420. Where are we starting from? Where's my little unit? 420. The temperature's actually getting quite comfortable in here now. The sun came out before, it might slow down a little bit. It's not not as cold as it was. Make sure this is tight because we don't want it to come out of ice. Alright. .420. Well, if we take off 0.4, it leaves 20, and that's very far off. What we're going to do is take off 300,000, take it out, measure it and check. So 3 full revolutions of that. And then we'll see where we are. There you go. Right, we'll take it out, and clean it up and measure it. Alright, let's measure the width of this little stretcher we're doing on a shaper. So, 1.118, so we're 25 thousandths oversize, so we need 25 thousandths off. That'll bring it to size. Right, I've just put a 15 thousandths cut on there, so that should leave in theory 10 thou to come off. So let's just see what happens, eh? Okay, there you go. Well on there. Alright, let's check this again, ready for our next or last pass. We are 1.099, thereabouts. 1.099. I don't know if that will focus. If I put my hand there, does it focus? Don't know. I can't tell looking at the little screen here. It's too small really for me to tell. Anyway, it's 1.099, so we want 1.093. So we've got 6 to come off, haven't we? So we'll take 6 off. Right, this is the last cut, 6,000s. It? I think so. Right. Let's bring it this way. Work it out and check it for size. Right, 1.093 we're after. Let's have a look what we've got. Well, I'm pretty happy with that. Can you see that? Bring it in the middle of the screen. Can you see 1.093? It's just fractionally over. That's good enough what it is. Happy with that. Right, so just go and check this in the frame. See what it looks like. Right, that's our piece we've just machined. So that's going to fit somewhere like that there. There you go. That's nice, eh? Just put it forward a touch. So we'll put a bolt straight through there that we drilled and tapped in that stretcher. So we'll screw it in. And there'll be 2 bolts in there. Got a series of bolts in here. That looks good, that does. Pleased with that. Right. What we need to do now then is I need to cut these to the right length, and then we'll go to the milling machine and we'll mill the end square, and we've got to drill a couple of holes in them. A few holes actually, but we'll start by cutting it off to length.